March 8, 2014. It was a calm night when a flight took off from Kuala Lumpur Airport, Malaysia. Flight number MH370, destination, Beijing. It was a Boeing 777, one of the most advanced airplanes in the world, known as the Sky King. Inside were 230 passengers and 10 crew members, 240 souls heading into the skies, unaware of what awaited them. In the cockpit sat Captain Imran Zari, a senior pilot with years of experience, and his co-pilot Fahad Abdul Halim, completing his final training hours. Everything was normal. The time was 12:40 a.m. The aircraft cruised peacefully over the South China Sea at 8,000 feet. Stars shimmered above, and the ocean below was silent and endless. Some passengers were asleep, some were listening to music, and some were just gazing out the window, lost in dreams of their destination. But no one knew. This journey would soon become the most terrifying night of their lives. Almost an hour into the flight, a small warning light blinked on the cockpit dashboard. The message read, "System failure." Captain Imran tried to contact air traffic control, but there was no response. One by one, the aircraft's systems began shutting down. Then suddenly, a sharp pop echoed inside the cockpit. A strange, foul-smelling gas began to spread. It was toxic. Within seconds, both pilots started losing consciousness. The captain struggled to grab his oxygen mask, but it was too late. His vision blurred, his hands trembled, and everything went dark. Inside the cabin, passengers felt sudden jolts. They screamed, trying to open the cockpit door, but it was locked from the inside, made of reinforced steel. No one could enter. The plane was now flying completely on autopilot, uncontrolled yet perfectly steady, like a ghost flying through the night sky. There were 50,000 kilograms of fuel in its tanks, enough to keep it airborne for nearly 8 hours. But inside, silence was spreading. As the toxic air reached the cabin, and one by one, people passed out. 5 hours later, Captain Imran slowly opened his eyes. His head was pounding. He looked out the windows and froze. All he could see was the endless blue ocean. No land, no ships, no hope. A red light blinked on the control panel. Fuel low. The engines were about to die. He turned on the intercom, his voice shaking. "Everyone, prepare yourselves. We're going down." The announcement woke the passengers. Chaos erupted. People cried, prayed, screamed. Some hugged their children. Some closed their eyes and whispered their final words. Captain Imran gripped the controls. He tried to glide the plane toward the ocean for a water landing. He knew it was almost impossible, but it was their only chance. Then a sudden crash. A blinding flash, a massive explosion. The aircraft hit the water, and within seconds, flames lit up the dark sea. Debris scattered everywhere. The sky fell silent once again. But miraculously, some passengers survived. Clinging to broken pieces of the wreck, they floated through the freezing waves, holding each other, refusing to let go. Hours passed, the night faded into dawn. Then a young man named Aryan shouted, "Look, over there, land!" Everyone turned. Far on the horizon, a tiny island shimmered under the morning sun. They gathered what strength they had left and began swimming toward it. After hours of struggle, they reached the shore, but it was no paradise. The island was barely 80 meters wide, just 2 coconut trees and endless sand. No water, no food, no shelter. Over 200 people stranded in the middle of the ocean, a living prison surrounded by waves of death. As the sun burned overhead, thirst became their biggest enemy. Some tried drinking seawater and fell sick almost immediately. A few brave men climbed the coconut trees, risking their lives for a few drops of water. But 2 coconuts couldn't save hundreds of thirsty souls. That night, they huddled together, using life jackets and seat cushions to stay warm. They wrote SOS on the sand using airplane debris, hoping someone, somewhere, might see them. Days passed. They learned to catch crabs and shellfish when the tide went low. They lit small fires with broken wires and heated stones. For the first time, they tasted cooked food. And for a brief moment, hope returned. But hope doesn't last forever. One night, the sea turned violent. A massive wave struck the island, sweeping many into the dark waters. By morning, only a handful remained. They stared at the horizon, their eyes empty, their hearts numb. Will anyone ever find us? Are we already forgotten? No one knows what happened to them next. The island, the survivors, the wreck, all vanished without a trace. Just like the flight itself, lost forever between the sky and the sea. But the food was still But the plane was too far and too high. Within moments, it disappeared from sight and hope once again sank into the ocean. Time passed, and the language and lifestyle of the people gradually changed. The old generation slowly died off, and the new generation, who had no memory of the outside world, began to grow up. By the 6th year, struggles for power began among the new generation. Disputes over who controlled the coconut trees reignited. History seemed to repeat itself. By the 7th year, a new and terrifying problem emerged. The sandy soil of the tiny island began losing fertility. Coconut trees grew weaker, bore fewer fruits, and new saplings failed to thrive. By the 8th year, food scarcity returned. Hunger and malnutrition weakened the people once again. Their ability to fight disease was exhausted. Even a small wound now proved fatal. Storms began eroding the island's coast. Their 83-meter shelter shrank further. During a violent storm, one of the 2 coconut trees was uprooted and fell. This wasn't just a tree falling. It was the collapse of the very foundation of their existence. Only one tree remained, insufficient to bear the weight of the entire population. People began thinking of leaving the island. They tried making small rafts from wood and debris, but the merciless waves thwarted every attempt. By the end of 10 years, fewer than 30 people remained on the island, mostly old and weak. They abandoned attempts to plant new trees, knowing they wouldn't live to see the fruit. Despair engulfed everyone. Some sat silently staring at the sea, and one day simply walked into it and disappeared. The island had become filled with bones and corpses. The living were living like the dead. In the 11th year, only one person survived on the island. Arav, the same man who first spotted the island through a telescope. All his companions, his family, everyone had perished before his eyes. He had grown old and weak. His hair had turned white and his eyes held only emptiness. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heart-touching short stories.